Hello, 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 folks. This is Mary again here at Mary Unapologetic. Yes, it's been 2 weeks. I am back. And today's episode is actually episode 62. Now, folks, the holidays are here. So I'm probably going to take some time off here. This might be my last episode. And then I will resume, I would say, next year just because I have so much to do for the holidays. You know what I mean? We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, and we have New Year's. So I figured I'm going to treat myself and actually spend quality time with my family just because I have a boy coming home from college. How exciting! I'm so excited to spend time with him. So, with that said, my episode for today is actually about one of our holiday, which is this month would be the Thanksgiving. So the title of this episode is What Are You Thankful For This Year? By the way, this is episode 62, folks. And before I continue or before I start, I want to make some few announcements here. Um, as you know, or some of you guys know who are my listeners, Den Trainer, and I am part of Den Trainer, is having the biggest sale of the year. What is Den Trainer? Well, Den Trainer is an online PDR training. So if you are planning or thinking of changing careers and want to get into the industry as far as paintless dent removal, then you can go and become a subscriber for our dentrainer.com. And we have, I believe, like, I don't know the exact number. Okay. My husband will kill me because I know he had created so many videos and I don't know the exact number. Okay. So we have probably over 500 videos. Okay. I'm saying this just to be safe. And he had made so many videos in terms of PDR, in terms of small dents, big dents, creases, and any kind of dents that probably relating to repairing a car. So it's not only just repairing a dent on a car. He had also created something that's like relating motorcycle tanks, such as let me think, the Harley tank. He had fixed so many Harley tanks in the past, and we are continually doing it so. So if you guys are planning to change career and don't know what you want to do in the future, why don't you go ahead and research dent repair? And once you know what it is, either dent repair or paintless dent repair. If you actually find out information about it and you want to learn more about it, don't forget to sign up. So the reason why I'm mentioning this, folks, because like I said, this is our biggest sale of the year. We're having the Black Friday tool giveaways and our Black Friday biggest sale, which is we're giving away 20% off from a regular price of $349. But anyways, check it out. See what's going on. And there's a bonus, folks. We have partnered with Anson PDR Tool Company, and they are giving away gift cards up to $100. Yes, $100. Hold on. Let me turn down my, I mean, not turn down. Let me turn on my happy music here or soundtrack. Drop it. There you go. I dropped it. So, anyways, they are giving away up to $100 gift card. Now, here's the rule. You have to be an annual subscriber or you have to purchase a 1-year membership in order for you to get a $100 gift card from Anson. Or if you purchase a 6 months membership then you get $50 gift card from Anson PDR Tool Company. I mean, come on, folks, that is a bargain. So if you think about it, you're getting 20% from us. Then on top of that, you're getting a gift card, either $100 or $50. So check that out, dentrainer.com. Now, moving on, let's see here. Few more announcements, folks, and I made a list. MTE. I keep talking about MTE. January 26th to the 28th, we usually have our biggest convention in Florida. As a matter of fact, to be exact, is in Orlando, Florida. And not only that, myself and Mike Toledo will be there as your guest speakers, folks. So anyone who wants to see us, don't forget to drop by. I will be speaking on Thursday at 8 o'clock. I don't know what room number yet. I will actually give you guys an update as soon as I find out. And Mike will be talking at, I believe, at 3:30. So don't forget to come see us. MTE January 26th to the 28th. And some of the tool companies are actually, I guess they're showcasing tools that they have made that they haven't actually put it out there yet. So there will be new tools. As a matter of fact, it's actually Bunny from PDR Finesse that had mentioned that she's got some tools to showcase for folks in our industry. And these are new tools, by the way, folks. So this is not something that you probably have seen yet. So that's exciting, okay? Okay, what's the third announcement? Anson Toy Drive. It's going to be on December 3rd, folks. It's going to be Saturday. Yes, it's going to be on Saturday. I believe it's on Saturday. Yes, it's going to be on Saturday, December 3rd. Don't forget, come and see us at Anson Toy Drive. We're going to be there too. Okay, now that I made all these long announcements, let me move forward to my episode here. And as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be my last episode for, I believe, until next year. Now, I might do, let me correct that. I might do one more episode, but it's going to be very, very short because I really do want to enjoy spending time with my kids, with my family. Especially, I have a college kid coming home. I can't wait, folks. The only reason why I might do one more episode is because I need to update you guys on where as far as room will be speaking. So if you guys stand by or stay tuned, I will be doing one more episode to kind of just give you guys an update about MTE as it gets closer. So we still have time. Let me see. Right now it's November, so we still have about 2 months. But here's the thing, folks. If you haven't purchased your ticket as far as airfare and also your hotel room, do so now because the earlier you do that, the better it is. You get more of a discount if you actually book those early. Because if you wait later and later and later, the price tends to go up. And as you probably have noticed, everything went up lately. And I'm not trying to be political here. I'm just mentioning that everything did go up. So we're trying to find ways how to save money. So when I go travel, I usually purchase my airfare tickets as well as my, booking my hotels way ahead of time. Okay, now moving on to my topic here. What are you thankful for, folks? I know what I'm thankful for, especially Thanksgiving holidays here. And for the most part, people usually think about it. They're like, let me think. What am I thankful for Thanksgiving? I mean, seriously, if you think about it, there's a lot, folks. Like for me, I'm going to just give you guys a rundown of what I am thankful for. Lately, with all the things that's happening around us, I started thinking again and started paying more attention what's around me. And I started thinking that I'm really, really lucky to be living in the best country in the world. Let me repeat that, folks. I am really thankful that I live in the best country in the world. I mean, what can you ask for living in United States? If you really think about it, folks, a lot of people out there want to come here. And they go, those people that are going through the process, sometimes they wait between 10 to 15 years. Why I know? Because I've seen it. I've seen it and I've known people that are doing it. You know what I mean? To go through the process, it's 10 to 15 years just to get a visa, just because the log is backed up. I mean, as far as explanation, I mean, I have to share with you guys why it takes 10 to 15 years, because it actually only takes 2 years to get your application approved. But waiting for the visa, for some countries, the log is backed up. So they're on the waiting list, and the waiting list can take that long. And why do people want to come to United States? Because if you think about it, some people don't even think that they live in the best country in the world. You know why? I wouldn't say they have taken it for granted. I just think they really haven't put some thought into it, or what we have in this country. And I'm going to talk about that today. So that way, hopefully, you guys listening to me, you will realize that, you know what? Mary does have a point. Because I do want you guys, I want to spin that thinking, that, your brain. I want to spin your brain and start thinking, like trying to create some kind of awareness here of what's out there and why we should appreciate that we are here in this country. Number one on my list, why I said that we live in the best country in the world, okay? Well, we have so many resources here, compared to other countries. And what I mean resources is that I'm going to make an example, folks. Let's see here. If you have a business here in United States, especially, I'm going to make an example. During the pandemic, the government started mobilizing anything that can help small businesses, as well as maybe big business. But then the big business really wouldn't, wouldn't or didn't get that much affected during the pandemic. It's the small businesses, right? The mom and pops, or, small business that are LLC or incorporation, you know what I mean? Those are the one that doesn't have a lot of business resources. So those are the ones that need a lot of help, especially if it's a startup business. So here's the thing. We had some assistance from our government, as far as, they allowed us to borrow money, to sustain our business during the pandemic, because there was like programs there that they created, as far as, like idle or the PPP. And then there are other stuff too. I've talked about it, folks, early on, probably when I started doing my podcast again. Now, to give you guys a little bit of history, I started my podcast, I would say probably 2007. But because as a mother with kids, I got busy, so I stopped. And then during the pandemic, I decided to start it again, to just talk about topics or things that are important in our lives, and things that can help us. Or maybe I can give some tools or ideas to you guys to be able to live your life with less stress. I know it's stressful to do, to basically to do things that we do, to do the things that we do every day. It's very stressful. Well, how can we minimize that stress? It's actually helpful to hear other people's experiences or knowledge that they can probably help us as far as with our stress. Now, moving forward with what I talked about, the earlier episodes that I have covered, I've talked about some of this government assistance for businesses that they can actually apply for. And so my point is, we have this in place last year and a year and a half ago, like 2020, towards probably the end of 2020. when things weren't that great, right? So, anyways, those are the stuff that I'm thankful for. You know why? Because I'm a business owner myself. As a matter of fact, small business owner. And my company's not that big like a corporate America or like a big corporation. But you know what? I enjoy and love running our business. And it helps people. And what I actually also enjoy is when the people that we've helped come back to us and thank us and appreciate of what we do for them. So we want that to continue for many years, right? So I am thankful that when things come down, because there are unforeseen things that can happen around us, whether it's our economy or our surroundings. I am thankful for that we have or we can get assistance from our government. And why am I saying this? Is because I have known other people in other countries, especially third world countries, that they don't have that kind of assistance from their government that we get from here. As a matter of fact, I know someone, and I'm not going to name who it is, for privacy reason. This person is someone actually close to me. He's got 3 businesses in his country. As a matter of fact, it's Philippines, okay? He's got 3 businesses. Before the pandemic, he was making good money to a point that he was able to build his own home, buy a car, you know, um, um, live comfortably, put his kid on a, I guess, nice private school. And then, like I said, also he's got like, other people working for him. Like, I don't know how many exactly, but it was like a nice business. But of course, he works hard for it. Don't get me wrong, folks, okay? The reason why he's successful is because he works hard. And the fact that what we go through here as a small business owner, he's also going through over there, right? So all the stress of running a small business, he's also experiencing that over there, but it's probably 10 times fold than what we are experiencing here. Because over there is highly competitive. Due to that, they don't have, I mean, the only reason why I said highly competitive is because everyone, if you go to, let's say, the Philippines, if one sari stores, which is like a general store, opens up, next thing you know, there's like 5 or 10 sari stores next to you, and you have a lot of competition. So that's why I said it's highly competitive, because a lot of people, this is what they do over there. It's like very competitive because, you would just walk probably, I don't know, 10, 20 feet away. There's another store like you. So he's experiencing what he's experiencing there is 10 times harder than what we're experiencing here. And the fact that they don't have government assistance when, something like what happened in 2020, uh, happened. It's kind of like made me realize that I'm so glad that I'm here, because all I have to do is just work hard, know what I need to do as far as maybe if I need the assistance, apply for that program, and I would get qualified. And here's the kicker, folks, because I've talked to some of friends here that actually have applied for some of these programs during the pandemic. When you actually applied, you have to fill out extensive or a lot of paperwork for something, right? Especially if you're getting some assistance from the government. Their paperwork's usually like a lot, like this thick or maybe this thick, you know. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't I just know that they're required a lot because it's the government. But because they know they need to get this help to people like us, they made it easier, and they said for applying, I mean, if you are applying for an SBA loan, as far as government assistance, we're going to make it easy rather than going through this, long of production as well as long process for getting approved, we're going to bypass that. So that way we can get the assistance to you, whether it's monetary wise, usually it's monetary. We can get the assistance to you in a timely manner before your business go downhill. So these are the stuff that, I have experienced and I have seen that happen. And so when I actually witnessed that like a year and a half ago, I'm like very thankful that I live here because hearing stories from another countries and the hardship that they're going through, even as business owners, you would think that they will try to save or, by helping the small business owners, right? No, but their government are not like that at all. I mean, they did have some assistance, but the assistance that they gave out are those, are for those people that didn't have I think it's like some kind of a free voucher for food or money or something like that. But then I guess their argument over there, the reason why they didn't get assistance, talking about the small business owners, is because their government is saying that you are in better shape compared to these other people who are workers, who are laborers. So therefore, you don't need our assistance. So actually hearing that kind of made me like angry or upset because can you imagine? Put yourself in your shoe and you're running a business in that country. And then they say, hey, by the way, you're not going to get assistance because you don't need it because you're in better shape than the other people who doesn't have a business. Oh my gosh. That would be like, that's not going to sit well with me because you know what? As a small business owner, we are limited with our resources, whether it's manpower or financial resources, unless we're probably have acquired enough cash flow that can sustain us for many years. You know what I mean? And that's usually doesn't happen with a lot of business owners. I'm not saying, doesn't happen a lot. I'm not saying everyone, okay? So don't quote me on that and don't crucify me for that. So moving on to my next point of why it's great to be living here in the US is that, let's see here, interest rate. I made a list, folks, because I want to hit all these points so you guys can understand where I'm coming from. Interest rates. I have witnessed that the interest rates in other countries are, it's not expensive. Well, it is expensive, but it's very, very high. That's why not a lot of people in other countries can afford cars and houses. Not that, I mean, yes, because opportunities or job opportunities is very limited. It's not because of that, but even sometimes small business owners in that country, even though they have a business, they still don't have the financial resources to buy a house or to buy a car. You have to probably make enough to be able to have that money for that kind of things that you want to buy. So my point is, here in America, we've always had something like 5%, 6% if you want to buy a vehicle, right? As far as interest rate. And even with that, we're complaining about it, or some of us are complaining about it. Some people are saying, oh, 5%, 6%, that's really, really high. I want to get it down to 3% or even 0%. I mean, folks, I have witnessed this. Why I know is because I have people in my family bought vehicle in their country. And when I asked them what the interest rate, I almost died. They said 18% and it can go up to 30%. And then I was like, what? It's almost like you don't want to buy a car if you think about it. Because if you are buying, let's say, a $10,000 car, Okay, a car that's worth $10,000. The equivalent of that in the Philippines is 500,000 pesos. Okay, so they don't actually. Let me think about this, folks. Let me rephrase that. They don't have a car, especially if it's Toyota. They don't have a car that's 500,000 pesos. I think it's 1,200,000 pesos. So that is equivalent to over 20,000 here in United States. So if you think about it, 30% on a $20,000 loan, that's a lot of money. Because over here, when we borrow $20,000, $20,000 for a car. By the way, folks, I bought my Civic in 2016. I bought it for like 25,000 or 26,000, and I had to bargain, to lower the price down. Um, and I got a good rate. I got a good interest rate on that one. It's not 18%, it's not 30%. So can you imagine if you pay those? And by the way, I don't think they have the pre-penalties. What is that thing? Because I'm not in the loan department, okay? But I just know enough that if you want to pay it early, then it will bring down the interest rate that you pay the bank. Well, I don't think they have that over there because I asked them. And they said, even if you pay it early, you still have to pay the full interest rate. I was like, what? Then what's the point of paying it early? You don't want to pay it early, you know what I mean? Because in that scenario, you don't get any benefits for paying it early, paying it off. That's what I mean by paying it early. There's no benefit of paying it off early. Then what's the point of paying it off early? Because you're going to be taxed. I mean, you're not going to be taxed. You're going to be uh, imposed. You're going to be imposed with the same interest rate anyway, and equivalent to that to how much money it's going to cost you to pay for that. It's going to be the same anyway. So what's the point of paying it off early? So I was like, wow. if I That's why I said if I'm going to buy a car over there, I better make sure that I have cash because I don't want to buy the money from the bank when the interest rate is so high and they don't have any perks for paying it off early. Hell, oops, I almost said the H word. Sorry, folks. There is no way that I'm going to do that if I live there. But that's why I'm like, I am thankful that I lived here. As you can see, I keep saying that because I am truly thankful that I am here. Now, let's see. The next on my list. Okay. Some of these people, folks, who are living in that country, they can even afford. Remember, they are always limited as far as resources. They cannot afford just regular basic needs. What are regular basic needs? A vehicle to get you to point A to point B, especially to your job. The reason why, you know, we get a car out of such, well, I wouldn't say it's the main reason, but for me, when I wanted to work at age 18, I needed a car, especially if my employer's far. So having a car is actually a priority, you know. Other than that, you can ride the bus, you can ride, I don't know, train or, depending on where you are, you can ride that. But having a car really helps. So that way it will get me from point A to point B, especially if I have a full-time job or a part-time job, so I can make more money, right? So over there, what's the regular basic needs that they can afford? A car. So how do they commute? Public transportation. But even with that, public transportation, it's such a hassle. You know why? Because it's always crowded. You have to basically fight with the other passengers to get to either the bus or jeep, call it jeepney. Definitely, they don't ride a taxi because taxi is expensive. So, what's the point of spending a lot of money on a taxi and working, to get to work and then just using that money back to all these expenses? You have to budget your money and lower your costs. So, It's like, I guess, riding, a public transportation there, it's like a fight. Sometimes some of these people would wait 2 hours finding the right transportation. It's it's such a hassle. Now, that's just a car, folks. What about houses? Not a lot of these folks out there own homes. They're either renting or they live in a not nice place. So it's kind of like I, I'm trying to find the right word here so that way I don't offend people. It's kind of like I wouldn't I wouldn't say I don't want to say sad, but it is. You know what I mean? When you can't even like afford to have like a regular home, because those are the basic needs that we need in life in order for us to live, right? Like car, home. But what about food? And what about water? These are the stuff that's like we probably must have taken for granted because sometimes I don't think about it. But then when I start thinking and analyzing, then I start appreciating it more because I'm like, wow, some of these folks don't even have um, a clean water, drinking water to drink. You know what I mean? And if you or you don't or you yes, if you have the money, you can buy it. But if you don't have the money, then what do you do? And what about the food? Food is the same way. If you have money to pay for food, that's good. But even with that, it's like every day you're thinking, what am I eating tomorrow? What am I, where's the money gonna come from? So it's like every day you're thinking of survival. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up, folks, is because I'm trying to give some kind of comparison of why we are in a good place or in a good country, because people in other country, this is what's happening to them. What about some other countries out there are at war right now? They are displaced. So, wow, I didn't even like, I didn't even think about that going into recording this episode tonight until just now. Just hit me right now that I'm like, wow, yes, there's another country out there right now that's like at war, and there are a lot of those folks are displaced right now. Ooh, that's too much. So let's move on, folks. Okay, so the basic needs would be like how homes, water, food, car. I mean, it's a priority to have a car. I think for me, maybe for some people not, but at least for me, the way I see it, it's a priority to have a car, so that way you can get to point A, from point A to point B, especially if you have a job. You know. Now let's see. Here's folks, what you guys need to realize: opportunities. We have a lot of opportunities in United States. As long as you work hard, as long as you do what you need to do, as far as applying for a job, getting a job, doing the right thing, doing good on the interviews so you can get a job, and as long as you maintaining and keeping that job so you can keep the job, then you're going to make money. Whereas folks in other places, they don't have that opportunities. I'm going to tell you, folks, what's going on in other places, okay, in other countries. If you don't know anyone who owns a business or who is in a higher position to hire you for their company, then the chances of you getting a job is really, really low. Because, for one, I know for a fact that other countries out there, you have to have college degree in order for you to get a job. You have to have some kind of a clearance. It's 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 it's, it's kind of bizarre because over here we can just go apply for a job, and if you do well on the interview and You do good, get a job, right? Over there, you have to get a clearance. Like for example, I'm gonna make an example, folks. In the Philippines, it's not that easy to get a job because they have to. I guess they want you to provide some kind of a background check that you have done already for yourself to give to the employer in order for them to even consider you to work for them. And they call it some kind of a, I don't know, like an NBI clearance. I think that's what it's called. I don't know exactly. But I've heard a lot about this, that you have to get some kind of clearance, when you're applying for a job. And I was like, what? But, anyways, it's the regulations and rules. That's why I'm thankful that we don't require that over here. And then, not only that, they look at your application. Most of the time, employers want to hire somebody over there with a college degree. So if you actually, these are all searchable, folks. If you actually search the Philippines, they have a lot of folks out there that are college graduates, you know, but not a lot of jobs. Why? Because this is what happened when somebody graduates or when someone doesn't even graduate yet. If you know someone, you can just talk to that person and you can get a job. It's almost like, hey, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. That's how it works, folks. So it's almost like you have to know someone, with a status or with power or with money in order for you to be in good standing, to be in the in crowd or it club. You know what I'm saying? Um, but if you don't know anyone, let's say you graduated from college, you want to apply at McDonald's over there. They do have McDonald's, folks. There's a lot of American businesses over there now. They have KFC, they have Domino's Pizza, Pizza Hut. So if you apply at those companies, you will they will consider you, but you have to have a college degree first. Just being a server, or just being the front desk, you have to have a college degree. And then even with that, um, you almost have to jump the hoops to get the job. So that's why a lot of folks out there are seeking employment from other places. They actually leave the country to get a job somewhere else. And folks, whatever country is closest to them, that's where they get the job, or a country that's easy for them to get into. So that's why I'm like, oh, I'm glad we don't have that here, because over here, we still have, listen, folks, we still have people that they want to level the playing field for everyone. So that way, everyone can be treated fairly, right? I'm not saying that it doesn't exist out there, or I'm saying it's still out there, that if you apply for a job, as long as you do well on your interview and you have the experience, that you will get the job most likely for whatever you're applying for here in America. Over there, it doesn't work like that. It's actually the opposite. You have to know someone to get the job, whether you qualify or not for the job. They will hire you as long as you know someone. Well, that's not fair for those folks that actually work hard, that actually went to college, and they have the experience, and they have the merit to do the job, right? And then it's also, I think the way I'm looking at it, it's also not fair for those folks that, let's say, maybe they have the skills to do the job. I mean, if we end up doing that here, I don't know. I don't know how is that going to work, because really, over here we always promote equality and being fair, and hiring someone with with experience and skills for the job. And I like that, because Like when I applied for a job, actually my first job, I didn't have the experience as a cashier to be handling money at at the cashier department. But I did well on my interview, and the fact that I think the interviewer saw in me that I'm a quick learner, and so all they needed to do was just train me. And I made sure that I was given that opportunity, that I'm not going to let it go down the waste. Therefore, I learned pretty quickly. And that's why I'm good at customer service, talking to people. As you know, folks, I'm really talkative, even here, right? So, anyways, they taught me something. And in the process, I'm still practicing it. You know what I mean? I am thankful for that. Um, they taught me being organized, having to see how big companies operate. They highly organize, and they hold everyone accountable, and to make sure that, well, not everyone. For the most part, that's the kind of stuff they're putting out there. They want to hold everyone accountable, so that way there's no fighting within the organization that it can cause chaos. And so folks, I'm saying this is because these are the stuff that I've seen out there, and I don't know if someone ever experienced something like this or something close to what I'm sharing with you guys. And if you don't know, then you just don't know. And so that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. But, certain or big companies, the way they operate as far as running their business, very, very organized. They try to hold everyone. They try to hold everyone accountable, and as well as promoting good business ethics within the organization, so that way the business will run smoothly and less chaos or less drama. Now, moving on. Let's see here. Oh, I talked about um, hiring people with a good background, right? Such as the skills or the experience or the qualifications for whatever job that is open. As far as rewarding people on their merit, right? Not just because you want to reward someone because you get along with that someone, or maybe because you're a relative to that someone. These are the stuff that I learned over here, and I embodied, and I decided that I'm going to practice. If I'm going to reward someone, I'm going to reward someone on their merit, their qualifications, as well as their good work ethic. I'm not going to reward someone just because, we're best friend, or we're BFF, or I get along with that person. No, that's not how it should be. So, moving on, folks. Let's see here. Um, Next point that I want to make here. Um, People here in America, and I've seen it because I'm one of those people, and I've experienced it too because I was a witness past. People here still try to instill to their kids the, you know, I would say good values, good American values, good morals. And let's see, part of that is like being accountable, right? Accountability, being kind, having compassion. Um, let's see here. I hope I'm not forgetting anything, like right here. Doing the right thing, right? If you think about it, folks, when you are disciplining your kids, I hope you're disciplining your kids, okay? I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm saying most of us here, folks, in the United States, most of us, because I've seen it, that when we discipline our kids, the first thing that we teach the kids are what's right and wrong, right? This is wrong. Don't do it. This is right. This is what you're going to do. And to question what's right and wrong, and to not do the wrong, or to correct the wrong to make it right. So these are the stuff that I still see that people, or our folks here at home still do. You know, And I do it myself too. I mean, it's like actually forever doing it because I started when my children were little. And then now that they're older, I'm still doing it. Constant reminder or constantly reminding them, hey, I wouldn't do that because that's going to lead to this. Bad things can happen. So I'm still like, um, teaching my kids what's right and wrong. I mean, come on, for God's sake. Some adults out there still needs to be taught what's right and wrong, right? I've seen it. There are adults out there that still can't tell what's right from wrong. I mean, that's kind of like bad if that's the case. But over here, I'm still thankful that I'm still seeing that parents are still teaching their kids what's right and wrong. And that's how it should be. I mean, if you think about it, going back to our, let's see, ancestors, like our parents, grandparents, great grandparents, especially the great generation, these are the stuff that they instill the younger generation during their time, being vocal, being polite, um, doing the right thing. That's why it's called the Great Generation because they also held themselves accountable to the highest standard. And I think we should do that more often. I know that with the technology, we have all these social media. I mean, kids tend to like probably be on their phone, you know, on their social medias, you know what I mean? Like not paying attention to their surrounding, not thinking about what's happening around them. And if the parents doesn't discipline them, that's even worse. Double the worse, right? So that's why it's still good to always talk to our kids, you know what I mean? So that way when they become an adult, this thing will not be issues, you know, and this will be resolved before they become an adult. Hopefully, right? Hopefully. But don't get me wrong, I've still seen adults that are still trying to figure it out. And those are the ones that I'm like, hmm, things that make you go, hmm. But I'm not going there right now. So let me see what's next on my list. I think last but not least, folks, it's family. Let me see here. I made a list of what I'm thankful for as far as my family. And really, first things first is our health. I am thankful that everyone is healthy in the family because I know some folks out there right now are battling cancer, heart problem, Alzheimer's, dementia, diabetes. I mean, gosh, can you imagine, trying to get through life? And life is already hectic and chaotic. But to even have one of this is, oh, it's like too much. You know what I mean? So I am thankful that God had really been good to us. That so far, knock on wood, I'm gonna knock on my head, okay? Hopefully this is wood. that that God had given us the good health. And I'm gonna continue to pray for that. And I am going to also pray. I believe in prayers, by the way, folks. I'm not the one that's totally to the extreme when it comes to religion, but I do believe in prayers, the power of prayers and the power of believing in God. You have to, at some point, believe in something, right? That everything's going to be okay. Because if you don't and you're um, pessimistic, just it would just like eat you alive. You don't want that. You don't want to embody negativity. If anything, you want to always think positive and embody positivity. So that way, that's all you will be attracting positivity in life. Now, next thing that I want to make a point on. So, our health. I am thankful that everyone is healthy in my family. Nothing serious. Second, I am thankful that we are going in the right direction. When I say going in the right direction, is that I have raised and spent enough time to raise my kids to be good little people. So that way, when they become a teenager or become an adult, I don't have to deal with this. Start disciplining them young so when they become an adult, they're prepared to what's out there. Because what's out there is a lot, a lot to take, a lot to deal with. So I am thankful that everyone is going in the right direction. My son is in college. He's far, far away, and I'm not worried about him at all because I knew that I had prepared him for this moment. And I had prepared myself too for this moment. So that way I'm not worrying. I don't want to be one of those mother that's always worried what's their kids doing, in another state, whether they're getting into trouble or not. So I can I can say that I'm relaxed actually. You know, I trust him that he's gonna make the right or good decision and that he's not gonna get into trouble. You know what I mean by trouble? That I can like be relaxed here and focus on something else, such as my business, my kids that are still home. Okay. Another points that I want to mention is that I am also thankful that my college kid is on the right track. As far as his swimming, he actually broke his record. He's already breaking school record at where he's at. He broke his time twice. So that is good. That's how I can measure that he's on the right track, folks. And then not only that, but his schooling. Even though that he's not here, he's still doing good in school. He's holding himself accountable to make sure that he gets A's and B's. Obviously, if he gets a C, would I be disappointed? Let me think. I am, but I don't think I'm going to be hard on him because he's been a good boy for the most part. You know what I mean? But I do communicate with him that try to keep his grade up, his grades up. So if he's got like a C, make sure to bump it up to a B. Try his best to bump it up to a B. And that way you can, I communicated with him. That way he can measure or he can have a gauge as far as measurement to figure out what he's made out of, you know. Like when I was in college or when I was in school, I think I made it a goal for myself that I'm going to try to study hard to see how far I can take this. What, as far as grade, right? What grade I can get. And then if I gave it my all, my 110%, and I still get, or I still get a certain grade, I told myself that then that's my full potential. If I got a B at that time, then that's my full potential. As long as I gave it all, especially my 110%, and I still didn't get an A, then I'm okay with that because I know that I'm probably just average. So these are the stuff that I did in the past, you know what I mean? And the stuff that I actually put some thought into. I challenged myself, I suppose. I guess that's what you would call it. I like to actually challenge myself. So that way I have some idea what I'm capable of or what's my full potential. Now, let's see here. I've talked about the college and let's see. As far as my relationship with my kids and my husband, they're actually pretty good. Unless I'm like reading it wrong. I'm thankful for that. And I actually, early on, when the kids were little, I had made a decision. And these are the stuff that I was put some thought into that I would keep an open communication between me and my family or people in my household. Because if I do that, two things will happen. They will open up to me, and this way I'm empowering them to be vocal. But then, folks, there's a fine line too between being disrespectful and talking back and having like a conversation, an open conversation. There's a fine line between those two. You have to find balance as far as how you're going to do that. And I did that early on with my kids and even with my husband. As much as probably my husband, wouldn't want to hear what I have to say, I try to make him understand so that way he knows where I'm coming from. And if it's going to change his mind, then be it. But if it's not, I'm saying change his mind for the best, right? If it's not going to change his mind, then at least I want him to be aware and to start thinking about it. So as far as my family, we have pretty good dynamic here. Again, knock on wood. So folks, I'm going to end it here. As far as this episode, what I'm thankful for, I have made a list and I shared with you guys on what's on my list. And I hope you guys will think about what I said and also hopefully make a list for yourself. What are you thankful for this year? And what a way to cover this in my podcast. This is an important episode. That's why I called it a special episode, because these are the stuff that sometimes people doesn't or don't think about. When I say doesn't put some thought into it, or they just don't want to think about it, or maybe they're too busy that they don't think about it. But really, these are the stuff that we should be thinking about, at least once a year. What are you thankful for? As far as what you guys know already about me, I am thankful for just being here in America. So we are living in the best country in the world. I am going to end this episode here. And don't forget, folks, I'm going to take a break. So I might not release an episode 2 weeks from now, but I will make an announcement. Don't forget to follow me, on my Facebook page. I'm going to make an announcement if I'm going to drop a new episode. And that episode, by the way, folks, it's going to be short. It's not going to be an hour long. Until next time, I appreciate you guys listening to me here at Mary Unapologetic. Thank you.